Very Good Music, a VGM podcast, is now proudly associated with RPGera.com, where you can find reviews, videos, podcasts, and more covering all your pop culture needs. Brian, the founder and CEO of RPG Era, has been featured on the show before and also hosts his own VGM podcast, VG Mania, with his friend Frank. Are you a fan of wrestling? Check out Blood and Destroyers, a podcast all about AEW. Into general gaming news and commentary? Max Level is the podcast for you. Looking to commiserate about the darker side of pop culture? Join Frank on Terrible, a horrible, no good, very bad podcast. Finally, The Media Files, hosted by Kyle, is your one-stop shop for all of your pop culture needs. Check out all of RPG Era's offerings using the link in the show notes. Now, let's listen to some very good music. Greetings, gamers. I'm Bedroth.
I'm Shootkapow.
And I'm RJ, the random guy they kidnapped on the street.
And you're listening to Very Good Music,
a VGM podcast.
Welcome back, everyone. Hope that everyone had everyone listening in America had a happy Thanksgiving, and that, now it's getting into December. We're starting our big December block of stuff. It's going to be a fun month.
What's our Christmas episode going to be this year?
I've told you what our Christmas episode's
going to be. Oh, yeah, Koji Kondo.
I can't say words. Yeah, Koji Kondo. And specifically, what Koji Kondo?
Winter Tracks.
Winter Tracks. Yep. Excited about that. And we're going to talk a little more about what's coming up in December. It's actually funny because we've already recorded one of our December episodes, so I don't want to talk about it yet. We're recording another one this afternoon, and right now we're recording the first December episode with your good buddy, RJ.
Hi.
Yeah.
Who we've mentioned on the show a couple of times, and who's recommended some tracks here and there, who I just found out has barely actually listened to the show.
I'm a fake fan. I'm a fraud.
But you also said you're going to go home and binge it, so bless you. I give you my permission to skip the whole first season because audio quality. We played some good music, though, because we always play what, Shootkapow?
We haven't actually played a Tales of Symphonia track in a while. I was going to say we played one Tales of Symphonia track in episode, but that was season 1. Very good music. Very good music. I threw you off because I usually remember to do that way later in the episode. Yeah.
And that play-in track that you heard is one that I think a lot of people probably know. That was the opening theme without sound effects, which was a little bit weird, to Super Smash Bros. Melee.
Super Smash Brothers!
Yeah. I can never get behind Melee. I've barely played it. I don't own it. I've just played it here and there. It is such a buggy, unbalanced mess. And I don't like it.
Yeah, Melee's the only one we don't have.
It is the only one we don't have, and I mean, I grew up with the first one, and so I was already y'all's age when the first one came out, but so that's the one I had a lot of nostalgic memories for. That's the one I took to college and had tournaments with my frat brothers, was the original, and I liked Melee. I played it a lot with a buddy of mine over the first summer after my freshman year of college, and I did like it a lot. For the time, based on what we had before, it was mind-blowing. I still remember turning on the GameCube. I think I've shared this on the show before, and hearing that the temple theme for The Legend of Zelda, that's one of those moments in my past when I was like, this is what video game music is. This is what it can be. Ice Cap Zone and then Melee temple theme.
I love Ice Cap Zone so much.
Ice Cap Zone was one of my first, when I really noticed the music in a video game and was like, man, this is awesome, and I want to listen to this when I'm not playing the game. But yeah, Melee. So, but we're not actually going to be talking a whole lot about the gameplay of the games we're discussing today, because like we usually do, we're going to be talking about the music. And Shootkapow, who composed all this music today?
Mother 3 guy.
Did you really forget his name?
No.
Okay.
Shogo Sakai.
I owe him my life.
I'm trying to mix things up and it's not working.
That's okay. It was funny. It's good because like you're so dry, I can't even tell, and so now people are going to laugh at me because they probably picked up on it and I didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, Shogo Sakai. So, Shogo Sakai has been in video game music for over 30 years. He started out with Data East way back in the late 80s, has not composed for nearly as many games as most of the other people that we've discussed so far this season. So we do have a variety of games for you today. I think the only one that we're repeating is the game that we specifically asked RJ to bring the tracks for, because it is such a special game to him. And we're going to go in chronological order, like we have been for most of the season. So the pattern is going to be a little bit strange. I'm bringing the first 2 tracks, and then Shootkapow is coming in with 2 tracks. Then we're going to feature RJ and the game that's kind of the star of the show. Then we're going to go back to Shootkapow and then come back to me. So our tracks today are going to run, again, almost 30 years. Our first game is from 1990. Our last game is from the version, most recent version actually came out in 2020. So literally 30 years.
Wow.
And it's going to be fun. We've got kind of a variety of music on today. Sakai has a really, really interesting style, and kind of like Motoi Sakuraba, a lot of times when you're listening to something by Shogo Sakai, you can just tell it's Shogo Sakai. But he can also surprise you, and I think that y'all might be surprised by some of what we're going to be listening to today. Now, I'm curious, RJ, I know that you've played the game that you're bringing the music from.
Yep.
Shootkapow, have you played all the games that you're bringing the music from? You haven't played Melee, have you?
No, I've only played one of the games I have on here.
And is that Brawl?
Yep.
Wow. Okay. Well, I guess, I haven't played one of them either. I feel like I've played at least a demo for the DS one we're talking about, but I have only played... Let me see. Forgot what I'm bringing. I've only played one of the games on my list, and I haven't played it very much because, frankly, I didn't enjoy the gameplay all that much. It looks fantastic, but we're teasing all this stuff we're going to be talking about. I think we should probably just go ahead and get into it. But first, really briefly, Shogo Sakai was born in 60 or 61. We don't have as much information about him as we do about some of the big ones like Shimomura and Kondo and all those. But he initially worked for Data East. Our first couple of games actually were published by Data East. He eventually moved to HAL Laboratory in 1996. And HAL was the developer for most of the games that we're going to be talking about today. They're, I guess, technically a second-party developer, kind of like Game Freak for Nintendo. But it's all under the Nintendo umbrella. These characters are considered first-party characters in Smash. So, but he's been working for HAL ever since then, where he composed, like I said, almost all the games that are on our list. He is also an orchestrator. He arranged and basically composed all the additional music for the songs in the Kirby 25th Anniversary Concert that was held across Japan in 2017.
It was a concert?
Yeah, it was like the Zelda and Final Fantasy concerts that went, the circuit here in the States. But
okay,
this one was
I know
only
about the Final Fantasy concert since I was there, but did not know the Zelda. I didn't know there was a Zelda one. So that's crazy.
Yep. If the Zelda one comes back to the States, we're gonna go. We're gonna find a way to go.
Yeah.
But yeah, apparently there was a Kirby concert that went around Japan in 2017. So
why is Japan doing all the cool Kirby stuff?
He also arranged a lot of the ambient music that plays in the Kirby cafes that are sprinkled around Japan, which you didn't know about those either.
Yeah, I want to go to one of those.
It's on my bucket list to go there.
Yep. Yeah, we're gonna have to. Maybe we can
Eat Wispy Woods.
Maybe we can arrange a remote record in Japan at some point. It'll be for our I don't know, we probably can't afford it for our 100th, but maybe like our 200th episode or something. We can record in Japan. That would be super fun. But, I think that we're going to go ahead and get into the music, and I'll have a little bit more to share about Sakai and his background when we get to RJ's picks for the episode. But for now, I'm going to go ahead and play my tracks. Don't have a whole lot to say about these games, so we'll play the track and then kind of talk about it a little bit and then come back and play the next one. And then we'll get into Shootkapow's first block. But first, I'm going to try not to butcher this. This is the only pre-16-bit game on the list. Sakai did compose a couple of early NES Famicom games when he was with Data East. This is from the Famicom game Tantei Jingūji Saburō Toki no Sugiyuku Mama ni. This is an unknown track, and this was once again published and developed by Data East and released on the Famicom in 1990. And we're back. I'm not going to try to pronounce the Japanese name of this game again, but I did some looking, and this is apparently from the Jake Hunter series. This once again, it's an unknown track. The YouTube comment says that one person does recognize the track, and a slightly faster version is also used in Werewolf: The Last Warrior, which I think Sakai also composed, as part of the final boss theme. Other than that, don't really know anything about this. Apparently in these games, these are like mystery games where time is kind of an important role.
Oh boy, time travel, let's go.
Time travel, yeah. So the player must have... Oh, okay, not time travel. Time limits.
Aww.
Those aren't as fun at all.
Pikmin!
Pikmin!
Majora's Mask!
Yay!
The player must solve the mystery within a time frame, and each command takes a certain amount of time. If the player takes too long... If the player takes too long, they won't solve the mystery, and resulting in a bad ending. Like most Japanese graphical adventure games, several commands are presented to the player, and the player must choose one. Because the game is on a cartridge rather than a disc card, progress is continued via passwords rather than save files. So, man, this is really old school.
Man.
And apparently the story... Jake is sent to investigate a burglary at a mansion, and his assistant, Yulia, goes to search the home of a young boy. And while they seem simple on their own, they get more complicated as you realize that they kind of overlap. So, sounds kind of interesting. The screenshots look, pretty cool for this time period. It's all in Japanese, so you'd have to find a translated ROM hack, I guess, to actually play it. But what'd y'all think of that tune?
That was very good music.
This is probably my RPG bias coming in, but it sounded like an RPG battle theme. So I was about to ask what genre is this? You said mystery game. I did a double take because you don't expect that to be in a sort of slower paced game like that.
Yeah, I would probably put this in the category of first person puzzle game. So a point and click type thing or a visual novel style game.
Okay.
And yeah, you're right. This isn't really as ambient. I would have expected something like a side-scrolling, maybe a light gun game or something like that. It
reminds me of Castlevania, actually.
It does have some Castlevania vibes. I was thinking of stuff from, actually, Konami is what I would have thought of. So Castlevania is Konami. There's an old game called The Legend of Bayou Billy. It's a side-scrolling beat-em-up. It's this Cajun dude that's going through the swamp to rescue his girlfriend. It's actually a really interesting game. But this reminded me, it's got that kind of Bayou Billy vibe to it. But it's definitely really cool. It's got sort of a... again, I'm notorious at not being great at genre, but it's got this sort of dirty funk thing going on, sort of a southern sort of funk or jazz. It has a swamp music vibe, I think. So, Swamp Man.
Was
that? Yeah.
Forest Naval.
Forest Naval, yep. Alright, so that was my first track, and now we're going to get into one that I actually have heard some people play before. There is a genre. There are a few different genres of game that have sort of famously chill music in video game music community. What types of games, without knowing, what types of games do y'all think would have really chill kind of music?
Tetris 06.
That's a specific game. I was thinking more of a category.
You said visual novels. I can't talk. Visual novels earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Also, yeah, that's it.
Any particular sports?
Golf.
Golf games tend to have kind of jazzy or chill music.
Probably also tennis, if it isn't being played by plumbers, princesses, and mushrooms.
Yeah,
and goddesses.
Probably. Mahjong actually has its whole own following in VGM, and pool games are not like water pool, but billiards pool. Pool games have classic, jazzy, smooth music, and that's where I first heard this soundtrack we're going to be talking about today. This is from a Sega Genesis or Mega Drive game called Minnesota Fats Pool Legend. Have y'all ever heard of Minnesota Fats?
No.
I'm not surprised at all. He was a pool legend, and I don't remember what his real name was. There actually apparently was some kind of controversy about him and his name or whatever, but Minnesota Fats was a really he was famous as a pool player. He was in a really popular pool movie called The Hustler. There was a sequel to that called The Color of Money, but both of those movies are way too old for y'all to have ever seen them. But this is from the the Mega Drive game, based on this guy. It's really just a pool game. I don't remember how it played very much at all, but the Super Marcato Bros video game music podcast, Carl and Will play. They like this game a lot, or they like the music to this game a lot. I don't know, they never played the game either, but I've been rambling now for almost a minute straight. We're just going to go ahead and play the track, and then hear what you'll have to say about it. I do recommend everybody check out this whole soundtrack, and pretty much all the soundtracks we're going to be talking about today are just great front to back. We're going to be listening to The Fine Draw from Minnesota Fats Pool Legend. Once again, that was The Fine Draw from Minnesota Fats Pool Legend, which was developed and published by Data East for the Sega Genesis in 1995. And you guys were saying some really cool stuff, which is actually why I stopped listening and started recording again. Why don't we start that over? You, Shootkapow. You said that this made you think of what first?
Made me think of Pokemon, like a town theme. It specifically reminded me of Nakarine City from Black and White.
That's the, like, Wild West soundy one more, right? That, like, everyone loves.
I don't think so. Are you talking about the generation or the town?
No, it's the town.
No, I don't think it was. It's the one with the museum.
Oh. Yeah, I haven't played Black and White, so I would know. I really need to.
Yeah.
It's only his favorite Pokemon game, so.
Yeah, I could probably lend you Light too.
It sounds sort of like a Toby Fox theme, like Undertale and Deltarune. It would be like it would be like the villain of that chapter in Deltarune, I guess. It would be like a Lancer, a Spamton.
But the part where you the cutscene, so to speak, where you meet the villain, not necessarily the battle theme, but
more of like chill.
Okay.
Like after Lancer sort of joins the fun gang a bit, where it's just like, hey, we're all friends now. We're just sort of like vibing.
Yeah, I definitely hear that. And then you also said something about Miitopia, Shootkapow.
Yeah. RJ was actually talking about that aura.
Yeah. So.
We talked about on our bonus episode that RJ is developing and writing a game called Aura, which Shootkapow is making the music for.
Mostly just the writing. I have no idea how to code. I'll learn someday. But yeah, whatever.
But yeah, so talk a little about whatever this, but also I wanted to give you some time to talk about that. So
yeah, Aura is basically just an RPG. It's quirky Earthbound inspired RPG. Yeah, real original, but that's it.
Quirky Earthbound-inspired RPG is starting to gain the same notoriety that Metroidvania has in the gamer community.
But it's like negative instead of positive.
For a lot of people, Metroidvania is not positive. They really don't like that term. Like, they like the games, but they don't like the term itself.
Metroidvania has become associated with Hollow Knight.
There's a whole it's a generational thing. So it's I'm kind of, I don't really care, but it is kind of fun sometimes to be grumpy old man about it and be like, but what would you call it? It's a mouthful genre. But anyway, continue. Tell us more about your quirky Earthbound inspired RPG.
It has a talking ferret.
Yeah.
Ferret?
Yeah.
That's amazing. I want this game.
And also he's trains.
Nice.
Trains rights.
Yes.
They are indeed human rights.
They are. It's kind of where it's the same sort of like a group of kids get together thing that Earthbound and like I guess Deltarune have going on, but it's more about time travel, and self improvement and growing as a person, and it sort of has less of the main plot isn't as important as like the characters' individual arcs.
Okay.
That's really all I can think of off the top of my head to say about it without like getting into like the characters.
Sounds like my kind of game. I really like character-driven stories. Those are the ones that give me the most. What is this? What did this music make you think about, though?
So in the hotels bit, it would be just exactly like Earthbound. You just go in, rest up, it's heal sort of thing. But there would also be a sort of, I guess, Miitopia type thing that like Shootkapow was sort of like mentioned, where it's just hanging out at a hotel. This would like increase their like bonds with each other, and that would lead to like eventually like gaining like team attacks where they like combo, where it's like Chrono Trigger, Bug Fables, something like that.
Do you have anything that you've composed that you think would be in this sort of similar vein, Shootkapow?
Maybe. I did compose the theme for, that hotel thing that, he was talking about.
Okay.
I gotta listen to all your tracks again. They're really good.
Oh, thanks.
Maybe we can feature that hotel theme in the background, because we've been talking for a while. I think that the music's probably petered out by now, but this is a really, really cool track. It's got that jazzy sort of saxophone style synth, and I mean, you got to suspend disbelief, because not everybody likes this particular sound font, but I do. It's nostalgic for me. But you could hear like an actual jazz ensemble playing something like this in a bar, club, honky tonk, whatever you want to call it. And so when you said Wild West, it does sort of have that like a it has more of a lounge feel, I think. But when I hear Wild West, I often think of like honky tonk style music with the guy playing the piano in the corner and stuff. So
the Treebeast in the Lego movie.
Yeah,
I love the Lego movie.
But this whole thing is this whole soundtrack is really cool. There is a playlist done by a YouTuber named Ed's Vision, EDZ, and then the word Vision. And the video is really cool. It's got an old-timey jukebox, and then it shows the name of the track and everything. It actually reminds me of the VGM Jukebox podcast from way back in the day, so maybe that's why I like this presentation so much. But I think this actually may also be imagery from the game, because apparently there is like a jukebox option in the game where you can go and listen to all the music, which is really, really cool, because not all games had that way back then. And so it's nice that some of Sakai's music here actually got to be featured a little bit in the game itself. Well, now we're getting into Shootkapow's first block of tracks, and we're going to go back a little bit. We're up to, this is the same game that we played in with, unless I'm mistaken. Came out in 2001. Shootkapow, what are we going to be listening to next?
We're going to be listening to Menu 2 from Super Smash Bros. Melee. That was Menu 2 from Super Smash Bros. Melee, released in 2001 for the Nintendo GameCube, and developed by HAL Laboratory and Nintendo.
And moving forward, everything else is developed by HAL and published by Nintendo, so we'll probably still say it because I never remember to not say these things, but yeah, if we don't, And of course, as everything else, composed by Shogo Sakai. Shootkapow, why did you pick this track?
I just really like it.
It's good.
I like this one. I've heard this one a lot, and as we were discussing while the track was playing, RJ, you said it's like it knew what it was going to become.
Yeah, it was like somehow it knew it was going to be the biggest crossover ever. Well, not Smash in general, but like specifically, it knew Melee was going to
really launch
be
it into
crazy huge fighting game that is like revered as one of the greatest games of all time, I guess.
Yeah, and definitely a landmark game. Melee is the one that made Smash really like a household name, and it's the reason it kept coming back. And this theme also continues to come back as an optional menu theme in every other game.
Yeah.
So, do you have like a favorite part of this, or a favorite
what?
Do you have like a favorite? It's a pretty short tune, but do you have like a favorite part of it, or is there something from it that makes it stand out?
I mean, I really like the part where it goes. But in the last 2 measures, it goes. Something like that.
Yep. It's good stuff.
Music words. And I like the softer bit, near the end where it sort of does the main theme of Melee,
mm-hmm.
and it sort of stops the actiony feel of it. Like I love the beating because it just like slaps you in the face, but I also love to like sort of like smaller sort of like calm down.
It's like, oh, you're going to be on this menu for a while. Okay, we'll chill out a little bit.
Yeah.
I do like how it calls back to the main theme. This is really a cool theme, and I like how it's like connected to the series so much. People forget the composers behind some of these things. Like this one was famously Shogo Sakai. Hirokazu Ando was a really big deal for the Brawl soundtrack. Of course, I think more people know that Uematsu composed the opening to Brawl than know the actual composers behind the other games. So, yeah, you didn't know Nobuo Uematsu, Final Fantasy guy, composed the opening theme for Brawl. So,
oh wow!
Yeah. You knew that, right?
Maybe.
I guess you had forgotten that, but yeah, Nobuo Uematsu composed.
Wow. I love the Brawl.
Audi Fama Milius. The Brawl main theme.
Yeah.
I'm like imagining the intro now.
And I eat a tsunami. Everyone, look up what is it called?
The misheard lyrics.
Oh yeah, misheard Brawl opening theme, misheard lyrics. It's
like
really fun.
10 years old.
Yeah, it's good though. It's good. All right, and now we're moving to Shootkapow's second track. What are we going to be listening to now?
Another GameCube track.
Yep.
Yay!
This is Fantasy Meadows from Kirby Air Ride, which was included in the 20th anniversary.
Yep,
track.
It was. I don't remember if Fantasy Meadows has been featured in Smash, but this is a really good theme.
It was just City Trial.
I think that this is.
I think it was City Trial and Fantasy Meadows.
Oh.
I think that this is Sakai's first foray into Kirby music. I also think that the version of Fountain of Dreams that is played in Melee, which is my favorite version of the Gourmet Race theme ever, was in Air Ride as well.
Yeah.
So, yeah. All right. So this is once again Fantasy Meadows from Kirby Air Ride.
That was Fantasy Meadows from Kirby Air Ride, released in 2003, and developed by HAL and released by Nintendo for the GameCube.
I really want this game. But I don't know why I haven't hunted it down. It's a Kirby racing game. It's apparently really fun, and the
GameCube,
music,
meaning it's super expensive.
it is super
and Nintendo
expensive.
likes to pretend it doesn't exist.
Fake money thing.
Like fun.
This track exists though. It sure does exist, and it's really good, and it reminded us of quite a few things, too. The first thing we noticed was, RJ, you picked out that this sounded like a Kirby's Adventure tune.
Yeah, I just said, like, I think this is like a leitmotif from somewhere, so
And you hummed it, and I recognized it. We went back, and it's the first Vegetable Valley theme. So, yeah, good stuff. And it's one of these things that Sakai can do. When you listen to, especially this soundtrack, I feel like, and then the Rainbow Curse soundtrack, you hear these callbacks to a lot of classic Kirby tunes, but they're not actual, like, recreations or remixes of them. It's really, really cool the way he can do that. There was a part in here that made me think of Crowned, or just specifically when Kirby fights the, Cthulhu universe-ending threat. And then at the end is the part that sounds just like the Melee intro, like totally ripping himself off there. But this was really, really cool, though. Shootkapow, why did you? There were several really good air ride tracks. Sakai composed 4 or 5 of them, and all of them could have really come in. But why did you pick this one? Do you think?
Because I recognize it. It's from the 20th anniversary soundtrack.
Okay.
Where actually Dusk and I first watched the Kirby Right Back at You anime. The first 3 episodes, at least.
That's right, we do have that on there. So that was a really cool package, the Kirby 20th anniversary. I wish that Nintendo would do more stuff like that.
Yeah, they should do that again.
Like, if they had done that for the Mario 3D All-Stars thing...
if they set it up. It's the Super Mario Brothers Super Show.
Like, they set us up. Like, the Wii generation was Nintendo's generation for fan service. Like, they really did a lot.
Rest in peace.
We were so entitled.
Yeah, so. But the GameCube generation, they were still giving us some really great games. I think that they were starting to get a little bit nervous because they had been top of the heap for so long, and they had finally beat Sega into the ground, and now here comes Microsoft, and Sony had already been kind of creeping up, but yeah. But you know what? GameCube, still, I think per capita GameCube has the best library when you look at the size of the library, but then how many of those games are really, really good. So,
but I mean, PlayStation 2 had Ratatouille, so who really won the console war?
Oh, a fair point. Oh, man. Well, that takes care of our first 4 tracks of the episode, which means it is now time for us to get into RJ's block of tracks. We are going to be talking about a game that is a favorite for a lot of people, and a lot of people also in the West, which is interesting because it's never actually been officially released over here. Also, probably Shogo Sakai's most beloved soundtrack. This is a massive score. I think there are over 200 songs on this list, and he really, really knocked it out of the park. I wanted to read this excerpt from an interview that Nindori.com did with, I believe this is the developer of the game. His name is, hold on. No, it's not.
Oh, Mother Forever?
Yeah, I did some research. So yeah, you know what? First, why don't we actually just talk a little about... I'll get into some of this other stuff later, but you just shared that you and Mother 3 have the same birthday?
Not Mother 3, but Itoi.
Okay. The director guy.
Well, not just the director, just straight up creator of the series.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Right.
Like that blew my mind when I found out that. Yeah, just the creator of my favorite game series has the same birthday as me. That's it.
That is pretty cool. Pretty cool. Well, what's your history with this series? Why do you feel like you love it so much? Which I know is 2 different questions. So feel free, ramble.
So I think my first experience with it was when I watched a game theory, not the Earthbound game theory. We are not discussing that.
We're not discussing that.
It was one of the really old ones about oh, this game is dark. Whoa.
But
I didn't I had no idea what Earthbound was at the time. I just oh, this is a game, I guess. Then I watched the first few episodes of Chugga Conroy's original Earthbound Let's Play. And I just swore to myself, I'm gonna get this game one day. Because it looks cool. I know Ness from Smash now. There is actually this, really... This is bit I look back on every once in a while and just, cringe. So I was playing, Smash 4 with like a couple friends at like an arcade. It was versus gameplay. It was like the first time I went there.
That place.
Yeah, they closed. That's really sad, but we were doing this. Like the 3 of us were doing this thing where it's like, oh, we all have to play as different characters from the same series, and then I chose Mother, but there was only Ness and Lucas. So I mean, one of us had to play. I just said, play as Rob. Who cares? But that's not the cringe part. I played as Ness because I mained Ness back then. And like one of my friends.
Mains gang.
I've left your cult.
I'm not in the cult anymore. I'm only seeing a main.
Yeah, so I say to one of my friends, like, oh yeah, Lucas is from Earthbound. I just want to punch 13-year-old me so bad.
Well, if my personal experience is any condolence, the 13-year-olds have said far worse stuff than that. So.
Very good.
Yep.
And you know, a lot of Americans would be excused for thinking Lucas is from Earthbound because we have never officially gotten Mother 3.
Not only did I think he was from Earthbound, I thought he was Jeff.
Oh, wow.
Purely because he's
blonde. You hadn't
blonde.
played Earthbound yet at that point.
Yeah, I hadn't.
So.
I hadn't. But then I, like, took one look at Jeff and I went, oh yeah, they're different characters. Whoops.
Jeff is my favorite. I love Jeff.
I love his, like, backstory.
Even though sometimes he wets the bed, he's still my favorite.
He's still a good boy.
He is a good boy. Earthbound... It's no secret on this show either. Earthbound is really, really special to me. I love the game so much. I beat it so many times when I was a kid. And did you ever beat it on the SNES Classic?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Like twice. Maybe 3 times. I beat Mother 3 twice.
Cool. I still haven't beaten Mother 3. I think I got to the point right after you beat up the robot maid. And then for some reason I got distracted.
You were just about to the part that makes everyone cry again.
Aww. Well, I'll have to go back and play it again sometime, but you know what? Why don't we go ahead and get into your first track, and then we'll come back and talk a little more about it. What are we going to be listening to first from Mother 3?
Okay, we are listening to Mind of a Thief. So, this is... this theme first shows up at the beginning of Chapter 2, right after you take control of Duster. And it plays when you're just sort of walking around in Tazmily Village on your way to, like, the main area of the chapter. And it's just such a perfect theme for Duster. It just, like, represents, like, he's just a guy. Like, he's the weirdest character, he's the weirdest team member in the Mother series because he's normal. And this shows that so well.
Alright, so let's get into Mind of a Thief, or Duster's theme from Mother 3.
Okay, that was Mind of a Thief from Mother 3. I don't think I have to say who it was composed by.
No, I think you're good. That was a really nice track. I've listened to pretty much this whole soundtrack at one point or another, but Duster as a character, I really like a whole lot. Like you said, he's a normal guy. He's sort of the everyman. But this theme also, there's a little bit of a sadness to it, which reminds me of Duster's story as well. So, since we're talking about a soundtrack of over 200 songs, this is, let me see, so 4 is 20% of 20. So that means it's like 2% of 200. So you're getting to represent 2% of the soundtrack today. Why did you pick this track?
I really like Duster. But yeah, I listen to this theme just a lot. I'll just be like sitting in my room, just thinking about stuff. This is like the perfect theme for just like thinking without really much emotion attached to it, I guess. Just like
just kind of letting your mind wander. I believe Shootkapow would call that vibing.
Vibing. Because one of the NPCs in Tazmily mentions how Duster goes on like midnight strolls, and this fits those perfectly.
Okay.
I have a Jolly Rancher in my mouth. Sorry for any like squelchy noises that I
want to go on a midnight stroll.
Jolly Rancher ASMR.
I'm always asleep.
There you go.
It's just so good at like describing Duster as a person. He's just sort of like this kind of weird guy, but like not weird, just like
he's the Roderick of the Mother 3 cast.
That is how do you do it, man? Woman.
Roderick? Oh, from Wimpy Kid. Wow. Okay.
And you were saying has sort of like a sad sort of vibe to it, and yeah, that perfectly represents how he was sort of abused by a father who still loved him. Because he got his limp from like Wes like pushing him so hard for like thief training, and that's like a big part of his character of just like you get the impression that he doesn't really think he's like all that special because of how Wes treats him.
This is a heavy game. It's really, really good, but it's got the real feels.
I love it so much.
And there's so much in this game that's about like these complicated family relationships, which, I mean, let's face it, pretty much all family relationships are complicated. But Shootkapow, what do you think about this? What do you think about this soundtrack?
It's very good music.
Sorry, this particular song.
It's still very good music.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't really think there's anything more to say that hasn't already been said.
How do you feel about Duster as a character?
Say that Duster canonically loves cheese.
Oh yeah, Duster loves cheese.
Well, Duster and I would be friends. We would go out for cheese lunch every day.
Oh yeah, and my Utopia safe file. I'm pretty sure you also love cheese canonically.
Yes. Just like real life.
Yeah.
Cheese is good. Cheese is our pal. All right. Well, what is the next track we're going to play? Then when we come back, I'm going to talk a little about these couple of interviews that I found, rare interviews. That one is about Shogo Sakai and one actually has Shogo Sakai in it. So what are we going to be listening to next?
Okay, so next up I have Adolescence. That was Adolescence from Mother 3, again.
And there's a subtitle on this track that came up on YouTube, Toilet Cow's Recommendation. Well, what's up with that?
So in Chapter 5, you're like going down a highway and you end up at this like bar. It's like a cafe, whatever. And it's like this really like dingy, like hole in the wall place that's like you can't even run in it because like one of the waitresses says you'll kick up the mold spores. And there's a jukebox. I haven't figured out how to get it to work, but it does work if you like do something to it, I guess.
Okay.
If I remember correctly, it's just like there's gum stuck to the thing, and so you can't get it to work at first. But like the different people like working at the bar will like give you recommendations for the songs that you should play. And right outside the cafe, there's like a super long line to the bathroom, and there's like a cow in line, and and that cow recommends Adolescence to you.
Oh,
they hide one of the best tracks in the game behind a cow waiting in line for the bathroom.
This doesn't ring any bells. How have I never found this place?
You pass by it in the store. One of the chef guy has a shop right in front of it.
Sounds like you're going to have to do another playthrough and look out for this one.
I can do any watching though.
I guess you were too busy naming Lucas Ness. Like an insane person.
Yeah.
I might have to play through this again too. This was a really, really fun track. I like it. This was good. And it was a new one for you. You haven't heard it yet. So, well, very cool. I want to share a little bit from, this is an interview I found on motherforever.net. I don't know originally where it was from. It says Dengeki Nintendo 64 from December 1997. And I don't know who is doing the interviewing. But this is an interview with Shogo Sakai and Takuto Kitsuda, who was also a sound programmer and sometime composer with HAL Laboratory. The only thing I see for sure that he did on here was so Takuto Kitsuda, I want to mention really briefly, has worked primarily with Pokemon, actually. Has done some composition on Shadows of Almia.
Ooh.
Heart Gold and Soul Silver, Poke Park Wii Pikachu's Adventure. Okay.
The best Pokemon game.
Hey, yeah. True fact, we know that Pokemon spin-off games have amazing music, so we're going to have to check it out.
Super Mystery Dungeon has like such a good main game.
Oh, yeah.
Apparently did the music for...
Pokemon Typing Adventure.
Apparently, yep. Typing Adventure. Excellent music. Apparently did the music for Detective Pikachu. Also did the arrangements for Great Bay and Mute City for Smash Bros. Melee. But apparently for Mother 3, Kitsuda was the, I guess, like implementer for Sakai's compositions. We talked a couple episodes back about Naoki Kodaka and how Nobuyuki Hara would implement Kodaka's compositions for NES. So Sakai says that he's asked overall what kind of atmosphere he thinks the music of Mother 3 has. And Sakai says that the word that he would use is refreshing. It's a refreshing atmosphere. He was a little nervous at this point because he wanted to give strong first impressions, but he, in the end, settled on what he thought would be a refreshing sound, like for people coming back to the series after not having played it for a long time. He said that the director, Itoi, didn't order any specific details, that he was basically allowed to do whatever he wanted, but he said there might be some people, like with the art design and stuff, being told what to do, but as far as what he had to do, he kind of had free reign with the soundtrack, which I think is pretty cool. He composed all the songs for the entire project. Takuto Kitsuta then took the songs that Sakai made and digitized them and added sound effects. And so he was the one who did the sound effects.
Okay, yeah.
Sakai says that he often listened to the music of Mother 2 for reference, and that he was nervous about replacing Hirokazu Tanaka on the score. He says it was a surprise because his music, Sakai's music, has a different flavor compared to Mother 2's music, and so he was surprised that he was chosen to do this soundtrack, and he thinks that he feels like his music will sound completely different from Mother 2, which in a lot of ways is true, but it also is definitely in the same family. Like, when you think of the love theme, and you think of like the My Sanctuary themes, there's a similar kind of simplicity to those. He says that he's asked if he made a lot of songs so far, and he says, I thought about it before. I think there will be about 100 songs once the project is completed in its entirety. Which, again, is about half. However, about 40 songs have been made so far. There is a main theme throughout it, too. I arranged it and put this jingle wherever I could. While the melody itself stays the same, the arrangement itself changes, so it feels like a completely different song.
Is he actually talking about Porky's theme there? Because I'm pretty sure early on, the love theme didn't exist, and it was just, like, Porky's theme was the main theme. There's, like, a sad version that went unused.
I have another interview that talks about that a little bit, so I do think that's the motif he's talking about. He says, while it may be the same song, I think it'll be hard for the player to notice. I guess unless you play a bunch. Also, depending on what's on screen, I'm changing the music ever so slightly. So he's like dealing with like action, whether the dynamic music that he composed for the soundtrack is also really cool. To an extent, like it's not as dynamic as like, because like apparently like if there is a scene and then there's you're in the same place but maybe it starts to rain, the music will change. But since the weather in this game isn't random like Breath of the Wild, it's not really dynamic in that it's, you know, it changes randomly. It's just, it feels dynamic because of the way that he put it together. Okay, apparently, hold on, so he composed all of the main tracks, and he's credited with all the tracks, so this is the only place I'm ever seeing there is anything different, but he says he's asked if he composed all of the songs himself, and he says he left the techno or mechanical music to Kitsuda. So anything that's got like techno or mechanical sounds to it apparently may have been done by this other guy. So, He's asked if the songwriting went smoothly. He says no. There's a song that has a habit of appearing in the scenario whenever it's necessary. This is the only song, and I wish I knew which one, the only song that Itoi himself, like, actually took a hand in. He was asked to create a strong-sounding song. Sakai says the song gives off a poisonous feeling, like a ruling fist. It has a very alternative style, like a military song, and it's a song with a twisted feeling. What song do y'all think he's talking about? Because I don't know. Oh, Newport City.
Kind of Newport.
That's what I think of it as, because
Porky's theme leitmotif.
Brawl.
Yeah.
The Porky's theme leitmotif. Okay. Gotcha. There we go. That makes perfect sense then. Okay. So one example of the music that Kitsuta composed, because they're asked what kind of scenes the mechanical music appears in. Kitsuta says, well, there is one scene where a mech appears. It's a battle scene, and so he approached it with a feeling of like, let's go. So, a battle scene where a mech appears?
There's a lot.
Okay. So apparently anyone...
Cyborg comes to mind.
Anyone or some of those could have been composed by Takuto Kitsuta.
Oh, I thought... Okay, mech, not chimera.
No, not chimera, a mech, like a big robot.
Yeah, definitely Natural Killer Cyborg.
Okay.
Yeah, that's totally like... That theme goes hard.
Okay.
Super Einstein.
So that one's not a Sakai track, apparently.
I considered putting that on the list.
That's technically a chimera, right?
You know what? All of this that I've been talking about, apparently, was from an interview. Again, this was 1997, so this is back when the game was still being developed for the N64.
What might have been?
The compositions...
Way cooler back then.
The compositions still, I believe, stayed the same here, but this may also be why Sakai was credited with Mother 3. I'm wondering, though... He had to have gone back and used some of the stuff that was developed for the early game. We know that a lot of the soundtrack from Earthbound 64 was eventually turned into the soundtrack for Mother 3. So, but that if it was implemented, because it was for the 64, it was being implemented by Kitsuda. I don't know if that's the case for the GBA. But yeah, so that was kind of a long and rambly little intermission there. But I did want to get a little bit into that because it's one of the rare times when Sakai himself was actually being interviewed. So that's going to be fun to go back and post and sort of put together in a meaningful way. But cool stuff.
I never talked much about Adolescence.
So yeah, let's talk a little more about that track though. So talk a little about your why you picked this to represent part of this 2% you're bringing.
So the sort of it has a leitmotif that shows up in like a couple other places, like fun naming, like right at the beginning of the game. And it's like Adolescence. It's sort of just to me, it's like the definition of being a kid, just running around, doing whatever stupid stuff you think of because it's fun, just without a care in the world. And that's sort of at the beginning of the game. Is like you go outside, you're so excited, you try to go outside in your pajamas, then you meet up with your brother, he's wrestling friendly dinosaurs, you get crushed by one, you fight a mole cricket, good stuff. It's just fun, kid stuff that totally sticks around for the entire game and does not become super depressing.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, even though so much like goes wrong like right after the beginning, there's like always this theme of like stuff happens, but the world doesn't stop being weird and funny and beautiful in a way. And that sort of, yeah, 1 second you're going through a mushroom-induced hallucination where everyone in your life hates you. Yeah, next you realize you confuse a pool of tar for a hot tub.
Well, and not just this song, which is brilliant, by the way. It's really, really fun, and just like you said, it's got this lighthearted sort of innocence to it. I love all the different instruments in it as well. Kind of how it keeps going back from like ukulele to steel drum, and then you've got the main synth underneath. But also just the situation in which you find this song. You're talking
Toilet cow.
Toilet cow.
It's really, really good stuff. I like it because, yeah, when you think of Mother 3, you don't often think of, at least I don't often think of like the innocence. I think of the heartache that people tend to associate with this game. But if the heartache wouldn't be as meaningful, it wouldn't be as poignant if it weren't for all of the light that,
like
that Porky's trying to put out.
Mother 3 is really good at giving you a reason to be sad. Like it's not just, this character has a sad life. It doesn't tell you. It has you there for everything that goes wrong. And then it says, despite all that, there's still good in all of it.
Despite everything, it's still you.
That's really cool.
Shut your mouth, you're gonna make me cry.
Wasn't that the point?
Before Shootkapow makes RJ cry, what are we gonna be listening to next, RJ?
This is gonna make me cry. A certain someone's memories. that was A Certain Someone's Memories, and
I know that song.
Yep, it's so late into the game, in
Like at the end of the game.
yeah, like right before the final boss. You're storming the Empire Porky building, and you come across this long hallway, and the music playing is Mother Earth, the first theme you ever hear in the series. And then the next room is like a boat that you get into, and it takes you down like this whole thing, and like along the walls are like a bunch of things from Earthbound. Like there's the Phase Distorter, there's the Skyrunner, there's the two like seeds that are in like the desert. There's like both of the phones. There's straight up like Porky's Spider Mech thing.
Which is the Monotoli helicopter.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the submarine?
Submarine, yeah. Yellow color's purely coincidental. And the music during that is A Certain Someone's Memories, which is the main theme of the entire series, Pollyanna.
Originally composed by Keiichi Suzuki.
Yeah, right. I forgot about that.
No, that's okay. I'm glad that we got... Because so much of what's important in this soundtrack was how Sakai... The fact that this is the third game in line, and he's having to bring his own stuff to it, but also honor what was in the past. And so this is a really good example.
And I picked this because not only is Pollyanna just the perfect representation of the Mother series, with its like lighthearted, just sort of hopeful thing, and the lyrics matching that in the vocal version, but Pollyanna just straight up is my favorite song. So I had to include it, like, in this.
Yeah. Shootkapow, what have you got to say about this?
It's very good music. A VGM podcast.
What does this song make you think of?
Sega News Animation, which is where I first heard it.
Yeah.
When this started playing and the melody came in, I mean, you guys saw my face. It's like, this, Pollyanna isn't even in Earthbound all that much. I mean, it's definitely featured, but it's
in Home Sweet Home.
Home Sweet Home.
Yeah, but this melody is just such a part of my childhood. It's really good stuff. I'm glad you brought this one. And there was another interview I want to just talk about briefly. This was one with the director, Mr. Itoi, and he talks about how not just the music, but the game itself probably wouldn't have been possible without Shogo Sakai. He, at one point, had noticed, or had thought about bringing in an outside composer like Keiichi Suzuki to do the soundtrack for this, but because of just how much bigger this project was, he didn't want to have to like relay a message through a third party or anybody like that, and so he picked somebody from who was already in the development team, sound development team, which is Sakai. And he said, plus Sakai already pretty much knew the most about the Mother 3 story, like compared to anybody else, and so he was really into the story already.
He already dried his tears.
Yeah, but he was really into the story already, and so he kind of had, his heart was involved in it. And he, Itoi talks about, you mentioned earlier, the love theme. They're talking about, the interviewer asks if, is there one in particular of Mr. Sakai's soundtrack or songs that he particularly enjoys, and Itoi says he can't answer that question, that they're all very good. He actually says the words very good.
Very good music.
Yeah. And then
by Shigesato Itoi.
The interviewer says, after finishing the game, the love theme is a real tearjerker. And Itoi says, actually, that song was made specially later on. Actually, we didn't even have that song until far into the game's development. When the ending was still unfinished, we were considering just using the Pig Mask theme. Which, how does that one go?
I
love it because it says he sings the tune and then it spells out what y'all are doing. Dun dun dun. It's really cool.
Actually, in the
but you thought about using that one. Personally, at the time, I was perfectly content with using the Pig Mask song as the main theme. But During an extremely important scene, we decided it was necessary to have a new song created that would have the greater impact regarding what we wanted most to portray. It was December of 2005, and he announced that the game was almost finished, publicly. At that point, the love theme didn't even exist. But he basically said that once they saw that scene, he went to Sakai and said, "Okay, we need something else that's gonna add a little more weight to the soundtrack."
I think I know exactly what scene it is.
And Sakai said, "Oh, that's gonna be tough," with a big smile on his face. He then completed the piece almost immediately, brought it to me, and said, "How's that?" And so the love theme, which is the one we're talking about, the interviewer says that he heard that Itoi specifically requested a melody that could be played on the piano using one finger. Itoi says yes. 8 Melodies shows up in elementary school textbooks, and I even receive emails telling me how people heard the song played on the flute at school.
I didn't know that. That's really cool.
After that, I imagined this time a child who can't really play the piano sitting in the school music room playing a piece with a single finger. I told Sakai I wanted a song that anyone could hum along with, and he came up with something really magnificent. Were you going to bring the love theme?
Kind of.
Kind of? Okay. Because it would be kind of sad if I weren't leading up to something. What are we going to be listening to next?
Not the last track you hear in the game, but the next to last. I said I was probably going to cry. If anything's going to do it, it's this. 16 Melodies.
Well, you know what? 16 Melodies isn't that long. I think I'm going to go ahead and play both. We'll do 16 Melodies and then lead right into the love theme.
All right.
And then we'll come back and talk about both.
The love theme is part of 16 Melodies, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, so here we go.
Those were 16 melodies and the love theme. I apologize for what I may have caused.
Anyone who has played this game to completion, I'm sure this is gonna hit hard. I've only played like, I don't know, 3/4 of the game or so, and just the composition here this is really heart-wrenching stuff. This is some very complex composition, and there probably are videos that break down what makes this so sad. But you can tell listening to something like this that Sakai knows music inside and out and knows how to use it. Really great stuff. I mean, I barely need to ask why you brought 16 melodies. It's
16 melodies.
I love the callbacks. I don't remember. I feel like Keiichi Suzuki also composed the My Sanctuary themes in Earthbound. I don't think that was Hip Tanaka. At one point, I actually knew. But so this again is partly Suzuki, but mostly Sakai on this one. But the way that he interwove all of these things is... How do the 16 melodies work in Mother 3?
Oh, they're not melodies. It's just the 2 groups of 8 melodies, and then...
Okay.
Yeah, there's no real...
Oh, it's the 8 melodies from Earthbound Beginnings, or from Mother, Earthbound, yeah. And then the 8 melodies from Earthbound, and he brings up Vow.
And then the love theme to finish off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, this is like the song of the series.
Because they just knew from the beginning Mother 3 was the finale, so they just went for it.
Yep. Well, it makes it almost a shame that people are clamoring for Mother 4, because it seems like they wrap it up really well. But there are so many follow-ups, so many things that are inspired by, that I feel like the series is where it needs to be at this point.
Yeah, I've always been satisfied with 3 being the final one. I'm perfectly fine with replaying the 3 over again, as long as Nintendo acknowledges their existence and puts them on newer consoles.
Yeah,
I just want a compilation remake. Is that too much to ask?
There you go, a compilation for Switch. And
then also all the fan stuff, because Cogdis, Oddity, there's a bunch of other ones.
Aura.
I gotta play more consoles.
Hopefully.
I would die happy if I can compose something this good for Aura.
This...
among other things.
If I could compose anything as close to this good. This is the feeling I was going for in my credits song. And listening to them so close together, this is just completely on another level. And it would be the perfect place to end, but we're not done. We're done with RJ's section, but I do want to mention one thing before we move on, talking about how Sakai loves music so much. I asked when we started if you were bringing anything that had to do with the Magypsies, but it's because I found a cool thing. I haven't gotten to them yet, or I didn't remember. What are some of the Magypsies' names?
Oh, I know where you're going with this.
Yeah.
I'm gonna see if I can remember them all. Aeolia.
Mm-hmm.
Doria.
Mm-hmm.
Ionia, Lydia, Mixolydia,
yep,
Phrygia, and Locria.
There you go. Very good. Shootkapow, do you know what those are? Doria. What else does Doria make you think of?
Dora the Explorer.
Supermercado Rose.
Pull the needle boots.
The Supermercado Rose. Doria. Dorian what?
Dorian mode.
Dorian mode, which
my gosh,
they're what? Yeah, they're musical modes.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
The Dorian mode, the Locrian mode, the Mixolydian mode. Yeah, it's really cool. It's a really awesome little Easter egg. And I just had to share it.
Just one more, and those would be the 8 melodies.
Oh man.
Yep.
Actually, Kumatora was planned to be a Magypsy.
Really?
Yeah, there's an unused sprite of her, with a completely different outfit.
Maybe you can invent the Kumatorian mode.
Maybe. I mean, the eighth Magypsy obviously has to be Kirkopia.
Kirkopia. Oh man. Well.
Go.
Well, we're going to get there next week. What do you have for us right now, Shootkapow?
I'm going to be bringing back... actually, I'm going to be continuing this with a secret 5th track. This is Porky's theme from Super Smash Bros. Brawl.
It's actually a secret 6th track because I snuck in a 5th track.
Oh.
All right, so Porky's theme from Super Smash Bros. Brawl, originally composed by Shogo Sakai for Mother 3, and arranged by Shogo Sakai for Smash Bros. Brawl.
That was Porky's theme from Super Smash Bros. Brawl, released in 2008 for the Nintendo Wii, and developed by...
Actually, this one, it wasn't developed by HAL. This was developed by...
Developed by Sora...
Sora Limited.
Yeah.
Sakurai Studio.
You just got in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you for not doing Unfounded Revenge. I love Unfounded Revenge to death, but...
It's been done to death.
Yeah. Like, apparently... That's all people who haven't played Mother 3, like, that's the only track they think exists.
Well, Porky's theme. This is a really, really cool rendition. Porky was a really great entry in Brawl as a boss.
I think that was actually the last thing that I've done in Brawl, is do the Porky part of Subspace Emissary. I haven't played since.
Wow. Well, so yeah, Porky's theme. Porky and his giant spider mech. Isn't he in the capsule in Brawl? Like in the capsule inside the mech?
No, there's like a little glass thing he's in, but it's not the capsule.
Okay.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
it's his
Plus,
spider suit in Mother 3, right?
He's yeah. He's technically not even an ultimate because the spirit that is the absolutely safe capsule has the capsule has two sprites, one with him and one without him, and the one they use for Smash is one without him, so he's not even in it.
Wow, so Porky is not in Ultimate at all.
At all.
Oh man, that's so sad.
No, I thought he would at least be like a spirit they'd add in for like the anniversary, but no, they just did an event with all the existing spirits, and it was so disappointing.
And I really wish they'd brought Porky back as one of the bosses. It makes sense. Why Gallium? Why this random creature invented for Brawl?
And they didn't even use him for the classic modes that like
it would have made sense for. Yeah.
Like they used him for like Inklings or something.
So yeah, it's
like what Pokemon Trainer, Lucas, Ike, Marth, and Meta Knight. It's that simple.
Yeah.
Wait, why Pokemon Trainer?
Because
Lucas and
Pokemon Trainer.
Oh yeah,
Second time.
Yep. All right. Well, so Porky's theme, and that is your next to last track. We've gone through Smash Bros., gone through Mother, and now we're going to play another couple of tracks from the other series that Sakai is most associated with. Shootkapow, what is our next track going to be?
Next up, we have Piggy Enemy from Kirby Mass Attack.
This is a nice little transition theme.
Yep. Because it sounds so much like Mother 3.
I read Piggy Enemy and thought it was, I think it's called Buddha Mask. It's just the thing that plays when you're fighting like a normal pig mask.
Yeah, Piggy Guys.
Yeah.
Piggy Guys, okay. Yeah. But this is Piggy Enemy from Kirby Mass Attack, which came out like 6 years after Mother 3. So, yeah, let's get into it.
Hi there, it's me, the Astronaut. I'm out here in Ad Space to talk to you about Piggy Enemy from Kirby Mass Attack, released in 2011 for the Nintendo DS and developed by HAL and released by Nintendo.
The first guy to ever compose Piggy Enemy.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's a good thing we're not big enough to get sued. I don't think Ryan would sue us. He seems like a pretty cool guy. At least some Ryans do. Some Ryans really don't. They would totally sue us. So, yeah, that was...
I would sue.
Aw, that's so sweet. Anyway, yeah, so this was Kirby, but it sure sounded like Mother 3. You haven't played Mass Attack. I was going to say, where does this play? What kind of, I guess you're fighting a piggy enemy, but...
I want to play.
You're actually fighting Mennonite.
That's not nice. Alright.
You're fighting King DDD.
I mean, King DDD is a pretty piggy penguin, so... have you watched like a playthrough or anything? Do you have any idea?
I'd want to see a fight between Porky and King DDD.
That never happens in Brawl. Wow. I mean, you can. I guess you can play as King DDD and fight Porky, but...
In Ultimate, like, back when it first came out, I wanted to try to be, like, funny and come up with, like, a battle that was, like, the team in Mother 3 versus Porky and the Masked Man, and I went with, like, Monochrome DDD for Porky. So, yeah.
Nice. Have you played, like, or seen, like, a playthrough or anything? Do you have any idea how this fits into the game?
Nope. I've seen some gameplay, but that's it.
Why'd you pick this?
Because I really like it. It was also part of the 20th
Don't say it's very good music.
It's very good music.
Welcome to my world, Arch.
You can't see me anymore.
Where did she go? Must have been the wind.
So, you like this, and it's... Oh, also part of the 20th anniversary.
Yep.
Okay, cool. So you picked stuff from that. So my song is not from the 20th anniversary CD, but it is another Kirby song. There were so many songs I could have chosen from Kirby and the Rainbow Curse. Have you ever played this?
Yeah.
Okay. It's not great. It looks really, really, really cool. Like, the graphics, it's like Kirby's Epic Yarn, Yoshi's
really
World.
commit to the style.
Yeah.
Can't you just, like, cheese it by, like, having a Wiimote to like play as Bandanity?
Supposedly, I don't really know. I haven't gotten through the first level because I just don't like the controls. I feel like if you get into it and learn it, it controls fine. But
How many Wii remotes do we have?
I don't like that.
Like
it's
6?
like 4. I think 4. I just don't like that style of control. So, but the visuals are really great, and the music is flippin' fantastic. First of all, if you want to hear a Shogo Sakai arrangement of pretty much any classic Kirby song, you can listen to it on the soundtrack. You've got Green Greens, Butter Building, Float Islands, the Bubbly Clouds. Of course, you've got Gourmet Race.
Crowned.
Like all that's Crowned is in this. Yeah, it's so good. There were also a lot of original tracks, and I decided to go with one of those. I definitely encourage everybody to check out this soundtrack. The Mass Effect soundtrack is all Mass Attack. The Mass Effect soundtrack. The Mass Effect soundtrack is really, really great, all of them. But the Kirby Mass Attack soundtrack is also
my favorite Citadel.
Kirby Mass Effect. Oh man, we don't have time for this tangent. Anyway,
Kirby in the Forgotten Land.
Go check out all these soundtracks. That Kirby in the Forgotten Land is
so
Kirby Mass Effect.
We're actually due for another Nintendo Direct soon, aren't we?
I think we'll probably get one at the end of the year.
We haven't
Hopefully.
had one soon. I mean, we haven't had one recently.
We'll hopefully get one. We'll probably hear
Not
something
since-
at the Game Awards. The people tend to talk about that, but we'll
It's
talk
gonna
about
be
that in a
so
second.
weird, like for there not to be a Smash like thing at all.
Oh man, it will be.
Unless they
Imagine
decide to
some
announce
secret,
the next one. But,
secret extra DLC character.
Okay, no,
Oh yeah.
I tweeted about this. I think like if
It's
the,
Waluigi.
I think eventually they will do like a Fighter Pass 3 to like continue with Ultimate, but it will be like a couple years down the road.
That would be pretty
Like
cool.
Sakurai gets a break, and like we still get more fighters. It's a win-win.
I kind of doubt it, but
Yeah,
that would be really
it's a long
cool.
shot.
I
But
would like it, but yeah.
be good ending.
Well, let's go ahead and get into my last... No, it's not my last track. My second to last track of the evening. And then we've got something really fun to finish things out. We're going to listen to... this song is called Watch Out for That Sloth. And this is from Kirby and the Rainbow Curse. Welcome back. That was Watch Out for That Sloth from Kirby and the Rainbow Curse. Once again, composed by Shogo Sakai. And this track, or this game, was also developed by HAL, published by Nintendo, and it came out in 2015. So this is the... No, I was about to say this is the last mainline Kirby game. Yeah, everybody forget about Superstar. I'm trying to talk to you, kids.
Superstar?
Yeah, Superstar. That's totally not the last one that came out. What was the last one? The Friendship Star or something?
Star Allies.
Star Allies, yeah. Yeah. You can tell I played it a lot. Star Allies. Oh, man. I'm excited about this next Kirby game, too. But
it looks
so good. It looks so good.
3D.
You know what else is so good? This track. It was really good. I liked it a lot.
Very good music.
It's really jazzy, really fun.
Jazzy, fun, snazzy.
Snazzy. It is
I'm never
snazzy.
saying that again.
You know what? It's fun.
Jazzy, fun, snazzy. That is RJ's catchphrase. Jazzy, fun,
Put
snazzy.
it on a shirt.
Takes out a thing of Smarties.
RJ says I'm never going to say that again. Monday at school. Shookapow's like, hey, RJ, how's it going? RJ, jazzy, fun, snazzy. I can't think of 3 better words to describe this music, though. Shootkapow. Without using the words very good or music, what did you think of this track?
Among Us.
Let's see. It was really fun. Well, I said that it reminded me of something like, it sounds like it could be in Bug Fables. And so y'all were trying to discuss what track. You're trying to figure out what track Shootkapow thinks it reminds her of, and Shootkapow is...
I got it! Transcending, overpowering, everlasting!
Yeah!
Sorry, I interrupted you.
That's okay. The way that you said that made me think of what you were saying about that one track from Mother 3, and now I can't remember which one it is. But the one that everybody who hasn't played Mother 3 thinks is the only track?
Unfounded Revenge.
Unfounded Revenge. Transcending, overpowering, everlasting. The titles, I sense some
honestly,
similarity.
Transcending, overpowering, everlasting is the fan favorite track from what I can gather.
Oh yeah?
Like, and yeah, it probably is one of my favorites, but there's so many more. Maybe.
I like everything I've heard so far in Bug Fables. It's really, really good stuff. What's really funny is the first time we played a Bug Fables track on here, Shookapow's was like, oh, that's pretty good. And had no idea about the game. And then,
started playing it?
And then like a year later, she was like, man, this is really good. It was for, it wasn't a year later, it was just a few months later, because I think we played it in Rivals Part 2. Patchpen recommended that we play Moth of His
Yeah, Moth of Us.
Yeah.
Oh.
So.
Her Chapter 6 boss thing?
I don't know.
Probably.
Mathiva's Grandstand?
Yes. Mathiva's Grandstand, yes.
That one's amazing.
Yeah. So,
You're like completely off topic.
Hopefully everybody, it happens all the time. Hopefully everybody has enjoyed these Kirby tracks. Sakai has not been super active in the last few years, but there is one more soundtrack for a HAL-developed game that I wasn't sure for a while when I was looking at this if he was actually a composer, because he's just listed as sound. But I did find some independent sources that make me think he did compose the soundtrack to this game. So I've heard of it. It looks really fun. It looks cute, and it got decent reviews. I haven't picked it up yet, but it's a physics-based puzzle game.
Oh, okay.
It is part-time UFO. Have you played this game?
No, but I saw you.
You saw me looking at it earlier?
Yeah.
So there is a motif in this soundtrack that is in pretty much every song, and it's just this cute little melody. You've heard through all of this that Sakai is just a master of melody, which is why I like his music so much. That's my favorite, like, kind of... I like ambient stuff, but stuff with a strong melody is really what gets to me, so...
You told me that I have good melodies.
You do. You have a good ear for melody. Wait, that's not you. But the melody for Part-Time UFO is a really cool one, and I decided to go with this particular track. There are several that I could have chosen from, because it's really cool how Sakai adapts this in all these different situations. I don't know the context of it, but hopefully everybody enjoys it. This is our last in-show track that you're going to hear, and then we'll do our outro conversation, which hopefully won't last too long, because I know you want to play Smash, Shootkapow.
Yeah.
But from Part-Time UFO, we are going to listen to the track called High School. was High School from Part-Time UFO. What did y'all think of that?
It was good. It was good.
Very good. It was also music.
It's a fun little track, really cartoony, which I think fits the style of the game. And y'all were talking about how... What did you say this was from Earthbound?
The Runaway 5 theme.
It does have some Runaway 5 in it.
I was saying it's like half Kirby, half Pikmin.
Yep.
Because it's got like whistles and like little chants, and you were saying that reminded you of
the
like,
whistle.
Yoshi.
The whistle reminded me of Mario RPG, actually, but the little chants reminded me of Yoshi for sure. Not as annoying as the Yoshi chants, but. And I don't know what it's saying. I think it's some kind of like silly rendition of Part-Time UFO. Although the last word is not UFO, it's like UFO or something like that. It's really cute though, and this is a fun little tune. There are only like 18 tracks on the soundtrack, so everybody go check it out. Listen to how this melody is adapted. There's some really fun stuff, and this is a nice little capper for Shogo Sakai. Now, Shogo Sakai didn't do any Pikmin, but this does have that Pikmin sound to it a little bit. And the whistles, yeah, this will definitely whistles in Pikmin. That's a thing. Real quick, I'm going to play the short little loop that we're going to use as the blooper reel. I might actually have to throw in some more blooper reel stuff, so if y'all have any suggestions, I'll add them to the list. But here's a... because I think we're going to have more than 30 seconds of blooper material after this episode. But this...
No, we did everything perfectly and didn't mess up once.
But the blooper reel I'm bringing is another track from the Minnesota Fats game. It's just called Merry-Go-Round, and it's got a nice little sound to it. But everyone, this has been our showcase of Shogo Sakai showcase. I can't do anything with that. This has been our Shogo Sakai showcase. I can't say it now. This has been our feature episode covering the work of famed Mother 3 composer Shogo Sakai. And RJ, it has been a pleasure having you on as a guest for this episode.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. It was really fun.
Yeah.
Even if I almost cried.
Aw.
But I got to listen to billiards, UFOs, and Porkies. So
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
this is really
that's a good afternoon any time of day. So. All right. Well, yeah, so Shootkapow, what do you think was your favorite track this episode?
Probably Fantasy Meadows.
Think so?
Either that or 16 Melodies.
16 Melodies, I think, might have to be track of show. It's just so good. My other favorite would probably be the Sloth theme that I brought. It was a lot of fun. RJ, what do you think?
Probably also 16 Melodies, if not, like, I might have just contradicted myself because earlier I said, okay, so specifically with a certain someone's memories, I like 16 Melodies more than that, but then just Pollyanna in general means more to me, so.
Gotcha, yeah.
So out of these 4 specific tracks, 16 Melodies.
Gotcha, okay. Cool, good stuff. Well, this has been our first December episode, and we have got a really, really cool lineup of shows for you. Next week, we are going to be presenting our Grant Kirkhope episode, where we'll be joined by my good buddy, Prof. Jeff, returning to the podcast for episode 11, as he always does. And then episode 12, we are going to feature a just fantastic conversation that Shootkapow and I had recently with a very, very special guest. Our big season engine.
You told me about this one, I think.
Yeah, I think you probably did, because it was really exciting. And Shootkapow, episode 12, who is our special guest going to be?
Brental Floss.
Brent Black joined us for like a 3-hour conversation, and it's going to be a long episode, but man, it's going to be worth it. We talk about some really cool stuff. There are some Brental Floss exclusives that come to light in the episode, and it's going to be a whole lot of fun. So I'm excited to finally get that out there and be able to start talking about it and playing it up a little on the Twitters and stuff like that. Speaking of which, Shootkapow, where can everybody find us?
On flat.io.
That's where they can find you.
That's it.
Irving for Smash.
You'll find all of us. We're trapped. Please get us out.
Hey RJ, you should ask Shootkapow if they're going to change the name of their flat.io because it's Lloyd Irving for Smash.
I'm not changing the name. I'm
Lloyd Irving for D-Me costuming.
Harsh.
Hey, my dreams were crushed too. I wanted Gino.
I hear you, man.
How many hills are you dying on? Like Guardians 2. There's the one you told me about earlier.
Yeah, Guardians 2 is the best Marvel movie. Not even a contest.
Well, we're only about a third of the way in, so we'll have to wait and see. I am inclined to disagree. As much as I love Guardians 2, I think my personal favorite... Ooh, that's so hard. I really like Winter Soldier, like a lot.
Winter Soldier is good.
But I think my personal favorite might be Thor Ragnarok.
I haven't seen it since I haven't seen it since it came out.
But I like them all. I mean, the weakest one is Iron Man 2, and even it's an okay movie. So
you like Thor? You like Thor 2?
I like The Dark World more than Iron Man. I like
really.
Yeah, I do. I don't know. I don't know what it is. But
Hulk?
This is I don't count those. They're not technically part of the MCU. They predated the MCU a little bit. Like Incredible Hulk,
specifically the Hulk that is in the MCU.
Oh yeah, he's my favorite Hulk by far.
No, but the Hulk, there was a Hulk movie. It was in between Iron Man.
Are you talking about the Incredible Hulk with Edward Norton?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That one is horrible.
It's not. It's not
it
horrible. It
might be like halfway up just because of how much I laughed at it.
I like that movie well enough, but I think that's because the only Hulk I had seen before that was Ang Lee's Hulk in like 2003 or something.
Any of the other ones.
Don't see. It's just called Hulk. Don't see it. It's bad. It's not even funny bad. It's just bad. It's really not good. Incredible Hulk was okay. If we're counting that one, then it's the weakest MCU movie, but it's still okay. But that was quite a tangent there. Shootkapow, where else can they find you?
On Twitter at Shootkapow.
Yeah.
Where I do nothing.
You also hang out on our Discord. Link is in the show notes. You can find us on YouTube.
Discord?
And yeah, we have a Discord.
Whoa.
Yeah, if you're on Discord, you should totally join it. Yeah. Well, Shootkapow can send you an invitation. And we have a Discord. You can also find us on YouTube. If we get like 12 more subscribers, then we can have our own custom URL. So tell your friends. We recently broke the 100 follower mark on Twitter. Our Twitter at VGMPod now has 107 followers as of my last count. You can find us on all your podcatchers. I mean, if you're listening to this, chances are it's on an actual podcast or Spotify or something. So yeah, you can find us all those places. And I never finished talking about what we're going to do in December. So after the Brent episode, we have I believe that after that is our next, episode 13 is going to be on Christmas Day. And we're going to be talking about Shogo Sakai, Koji Kondo Winter Tracks, as we mentioned before. And that will be followed up 1 week later on New Year's Eve by our bonus episode 10, which will be each of our top 10 tracks from 2021. And the podcast on 2021, not like new soundtracks that came out this year. Yeah, that caused some confusion last year too. But we'll be talking about the greatest of the podcast for 2021. And I've already started narrowing down my list. It's going to be hard this year. Shootkapow, have you even started on your list?
For winter tracks?
Nope. Nope. See, RJ can tell me what I've been talking about for the last 30 seconds. So you can.
The top ones of the year.
Yeah, our bonus.
Yeah.
The best of the year.
No. I don't have
Put your games away. You kids these days are always playing with your Pokemans and your Marios.
I'm curious, can you play Pokemon Uranium on there, Kyler?
No.
Aw, sad day.
Nintendo's gonna kill us.
Dad, why would you do that?
They're gonna hunt us down.
I'm not afraid of the Nintendo ninjas. I play Nintendo songs on my podcast.
Yeah, we have Sneak 100.
Yeah. Because nobody knows about us. If you know about us, you can also send us an email at verygoodmusicvgm@gmail.com, or you can comment on any one of our things I just mentioned a minute ago. But for now, this has gone on for almost 2 hours, and I still haven't put any music in. So I think we're going to call it quits and you guys can go play some Smash, and I'll get ready to go have dinner with Prof. Jeff, who will be coming back and joining us for another recording session this evening. Oh man, this is going to be a long day, but it's fun. I'm going to have so much to edit. It's been great. So, RJ, where can our listeners find you anywhere online? Is there anything that you're doing that you'd like them to see?
Not necessarily like to see. They could just. I'm on Twitter. At Ridgegacria. It's impossible to spell, but just RIJJGACRIA. That's me. And
I'll at RJ on the post for this episode, so you can find him there. So.
I talk about stupid stuff, serious stuff occasionally, but mostly just whatever I think of that's not funny.
I like a lot of your comments.
Thank you.
Yeah. And Shootkapow, have you composed anything new since we last talked? Since New York?
New York was amazing.
It's
so good.
Not really. I haven't composed much during Thanksgiving break because I haven't had much time on my Chromebook.
Oh, I have homework.
Oh.
Do you have homework to do, Shootkapow?
Maybe.
You should probably check on that, I guess.
Yeah.
Oops.
Alright, we're gonna go so these two can work on homework and stuff after Smash, I guess. But I guess until next time, play very good games.
Be very good people.
And keep listening to very good music.
I've got my house key, I've got my chapstick, I've got my watch, and I've got a little Oshawott keychain thing, yeah.
So yeah, your pockets are like an RPG inventory, like you said.
Yep.
8 things of Smarties, 7 or 8 Rolos,
None
lots of Jolly Ranchers.
Be eaten. Yep, there we go.
What? Do you spit out the plastic?
Yeah.
Okay.
The first time she did that, it was the funniest, the most I'd laughed in years.
So, a couple of visual elements here. Shootkapow just grabbed a roll of Smarties from a jacket pocket and, without unwrapping it, just took a big bite out of it. I also want to mention...
It had 2 wrappers!
What?
Wow. I also want to mention that RJ is wearing a really, really cool Mother 3 shirt.
Just for the occasion.
Yeah, I just noticed it. That is awesome. I'm going to have to get a picture of the shirt and put it on our art. I want to share that. That's really cool. So yeah, everybody take a look at the artwork on YouTube, and you'll see a picture of this awesome shirt. So, all right.
My signature move, taking a bite out of a full thing of Smarties.
That's my special attack.
You can finish your Smarties, and then we'll come back officially. I don't want to see you getting anything out of your candy bucket today. I think you're probably set for now. See, now I think I know what you do. Now I think you just grab a couple of handfuls and shove them in your jacket pockets, and then carry those around until you want more candy, and then you go back and grab a couple more handfuls.
For 3 days, I just grabbed all my favorite candy after Halloween and just took it to school with me. I was eating freaking Reese's Cups, Skittles, just the whole day.
Well, one of these days, it's gonna catch up with y'all. Just saying. But, I didn't mean to bring down the mood.
Anyway.
Speaking of though, no, I can't do that because we haven't officially come back. All right, you just say the name of the track and then we come back and talk about it. I lost my train of thought. That's gonna happen a lot, by the way. Just so you're good.
I love that they made a Kingdom called Next Door.
The Kingdom Next Door.
And then the first bit in Greenhorn is called Ease in Flames.
Yeah.
It's meta. That kind of fourth wall breaking stuff. So I am recording because I've started. It's fun. I like getting you when you're relaxed and just kind of talking and you don't have to think about what you're saying.
Yeah.
I will say we're recording right now, but I know the magnets help you stay focused and stuff, but the clicking gets really, really picked up by this. Which is also why I was kicking your feet a minute ago when you were shuffling, because...
Maybe I should bring my DS and game again.
I'll let you do that later, which
First episode?
I think so.
You're playing something.
Oh yeah, it was, we played the opening theme from Sword and Shield on episode 1. What's funny is I think I actually picked it.
Yeah.
Alright, that was... Oh wait, you get to read this in, but back up. Go ahead. It's okay. RJ is drawing in the background, so yeah. Put down the giant scissors and let your friend continue the conversation.
One of the NPCs in Tazmily.
Full circle. And the cat is being cute. Hey. Oh no, I wasn't recording that whole time. And there is now a cat on the table. So, fortunately, she's very quiet, so hopefully none of y'all will hear her.
There's a bit of cat butt in your way.
Oh, there. Now it's my way. Alright, Shootkapow. Bring us back.
Alright. Challenge stages are just way too hard. I'm talking about Return to Dreamland, by the way, because I know you just started recording. But yeah, 100% of the main file, beat the arena, with the help of my siblings, beat all 3 stages of Ninja Dojo and Scope Shot, and beat Satan again.
I remember when I beat the True Arena and Planet Robobot. That was probably like one of my proudest gaming moments, because it took me forever. Like it was crazy.
Yeah, that True Arena is ridiculous.
It is.
I think the closest I've come to beating something like that is in Twilight Princess. I beat like the Gauntlet dungeon where you had to like go down 50 levels and each level gets harder. And I also beat the one in Wind Waker. That one wasn't quite as difficult, but Twilight Princess really gave me a run for my money. That was something.
Did you get like the best reward like ever apparently in like the Wind Waker one?
Wind Waker, I actually don't remember what the reward was.
I think
in Twilight Princess you get armor that makes you invincible, but runs on rupees.
Oh yeah.
And it goes down a rupee a second. And it's also really heavy, and so you can't go very fast in it. It's not great, but...
Yeah, I know.
I think I remember, like, someone in a video mentioning, like, in the original Wind Waker, you get, like, his heart's kind of lame for, like, all of that. But then in the, like, in HD, you get, like, the mask that, like, makes enemies not notice you or something. Like,
yeah.
The equivalent of the stone mask.
Or Majora's Mask in Breath of the Wild.
Mm-hmm.
Wind Waker.
Yep. One of the DLC items.
It's a DLC item. And so in Breath of the Wild, there are different masks you can wear. Like if you wear a Bokoblin mask, then Bokos don't recognize you. The Majora's Mask works on all enemies.
Oh, that's
yeah, it's pretty cool.
Well, mine also notice you after a little bit of time.
Yeah. And I don't know if it works on boss enemies, like the Hinox.
Yeah, probably not.
Okay, the Savage Labyrinth. Wind Waker. Savage Labyrinth reward. Okay, Savage Labyrinth. Zelda Wiki.
Oh, you get a Triforce Shard from it? It's like at the top.
Main item. Triforce Shard. Hero's Charm. Oh yeah, Triforce Chart and Piece of Heart. Triforce Shard. Okay, yeah, because you have to do part of it to get Triforce Shard, but then when you get all the way to the bottom, you get the Hero's Charm. Yes.
Yeah, that's the mask I was talking about. That thing.
The Hero's Charm is equipped and unequipped. The mask also functions. The mask also functions during most boss battles. Only with a longer life gauge across the bottom of the screen. Charm. Toy Pennant. Charm is use, revealing an enemy's health. Okay.
I just remember that Ocarina and Majora Link canonically died, and you see his corpse in Twilight Princess.
You see his ghost. I don't know if you see his corpse.
He's like skeletal.
Oh yeah, yeah. The guy who teaches you how to use the sword in Twilight Princess is the hero of time, who died. Because Twilight Princess is on the bad timeline. Zelda's weird. We're not talking about Zelda right now, we're talking about Kirby.
Yeah!
What was that track, Shootkapow? And I keep making mouth noises. It's going to be fun to edit out later. Yeah, that's your thinking noise.
Dog water.
Miss Piggy. Oh, Kirby! Muppets. Yeah. Oh, okay.
I wanted to think of is that Smash Bros. Mod where it replaces Captain Falcon's tournament.
I thought it was Ryu.
Captain it is Ryu, isn't it?
Hadouken! Shoryuken!
The Muppet Show has just begun!
It's time to play the music. It's time to light the lights.
It's time to leave a like down below the video and subscribe if you haven't already.
Yeah.
This podcast is sponsored by Rage 7.
Alright.
The VGM podcast. Among Us.
And that's the end.
Yeah.